Mr. Miracle #8, Tom King and Mitch Gerads. And of course, Baby's Born. We had that whole last issue, and this issue is basically about the juggling between the parents because they can never be home at the same time because they keep having to fight this war.
Because he's the High Father.
Yeah,
and they're waging a war in Apocalypse, but she's the co-general. So yeah, you could call this the joys of parenthood because it's a timeline, the balancing work and the kid.
Yeah.
Did we know his name was Jack? That happened in the last one, right?
I think so. I can't remember. But
I can't remember. That's why. But I like that the kid's name is Jack.
Not only is he called Jack. At one point, someone calls him the King, which is a nice, obviously reference to Jack Kirby.
And we're getting an Excelsior in this issue as well, I think.
From the Stan Lee looking dude, yeah. So full of the references in this one, but this, as all issues with this was deeply sort of hard-hitting emotion, despite the fact that there's kind of an uplifting sort of bent to it by the end, because it's all about the stress of being a parent and the stress of, I'll have to look at it to be specific here, but there was like scenes of him like, on the battlefield, and it's like, oh, this is the end. This is because I think early on he's shouting. What was he shouting constantly during the battle? And he's just really talking about.
There's no escape.
There's no escape. He keeps shouting there's no escape, but he's also, I mean, you can take that as a metaphor. He's really just talking about parenthood. There's no escape from always having this responsibility.
Yeah, that's it now. It's you're just saddled with that.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to jump to it. My favorite part of this issue is that Batman kills babies. Like, that line...
You're a parody of yourself at this point, Matt.
I know. I could not help it, though.
You're a
parody. The fact
parody.
that they put that in, and you can't put... you can't put stuffed animals in there with it. And he goes, hey, yeah, you can. It's fine. No. There's studies.
Yeah, he's talking about it's like, yeah, but there's cot death. You gotta be careful.
Yeah, exactly. And he goes, no. Studies show. And then just the next lines are Batman kills babies, and I lost it. Like,
it's pretty fantastic.
It's funny. I mean, this series has been very good at being funny, even when it's doing really dark things. And it's funny because even the scene where he's literally. Putting bodies, like they've built a big pit for the dead bodies that they're just getting rid of. But as we're watching that, it's contrasting because we're hearing that they're talking about Jack trying to laugh and talking about the kid and him being a flirt and talking about all these nice things. It's this contrast between the two things. And one of the things that I love towards the end of the book is that he gets at the worst possible part of the book, his worst possible place, where he's done, he's been fighting, he's beaten badly, he is completely miserable, and that's when we get the Dark Side Is, right? And he's actually singing the song again, hey little baby, don't say a word, blah 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 blah, and it says Dark Side Is. We get the little video distortion effect before it says Dark Side Is. He's at his possible worst, and that's when he gets I don't know if he literally gets the call here, but at least in the book, this is where we get to hear him find out that the baby's saying daddy or dada. And it's like that brings him back from the edge.
I think that is when he's getting the call, because you get the Dark Side Is. Yeah. And then the panel after that, it clears up. There's no more video distortion. You hear the ping of the message.
Oh, you're right, there's a ping. Through. You're right, the ping. Yeah. I wasn't sure if it was literally he's getting the call then, or if it's just thematically.
Yeah, I think the ping is telling you it's now.
So, but he gets this call, and obviously him singing the song, we get that near the start of the issue. It bookends by him doing that again, and it's the idea that, it is stressful, there is this responsibility, it is this thing, but it's also the thing that makes him sort of have hope again at the end, because he's done. He's been on the battlefield, he's lying there, Dark Side Is, it's covered in blood, it's miserable, but then he hears his son say dada, and then it's like everything's okay again, and we have him singing the song again at the end to the kid.
Yeah, and it's probably he's like, I'm gonna buy a goddamn diamond ring. He's proper like pumped for doing it, isn't he?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And in fact, we don't even see Barda until the end of the issue, because the idea is that they never see each other. So it's emulating that by us never seeing her. We hear the conversations, we hear the phone calls, we hear them talking about, maybe we should put a car seat in the crib until he falls asleep, because that's what's helping him sleep apparently. Yeah. All these like parenting conversations as they're going back.
Well, Barda has to watch him take his first steps via Mother Box.
Yeah, and our Stan Lee villain gets his nostrils instead for part of it. He's like, I can lose to see your nostrils now. Point it back at him.
Yeah.
So
funky.
So there's good stuff there. The fact that she's supposed to have this duel, she's challenged this other general to a duel, but she's like
one-on-one.
She gets caught up, and Scott has to do the fight instead and gets the shit kicked out of him. He's like, I almost had her. I'm like, I'm sure you did, honey.
We'll take him in the fall. Like we'll circle back around.
But again, I think that's it's the metaphor for the idea that sometimes in a couple, when you get new parents, is that one of them's better at certain things. Like one of them's maybe better at the feeding, one of them's better at the other thing, and the idea that every so often, the parent that's good at that thing won't be there for it.
Yeah, so, the other one's just got to do it anyway.
Yeah, and probably be terrible at it. You know, if it's changing the diapers, they get covered in shit because they're bad at it.
But they did it. That's the point.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff there, and just the stress of it. You can really feel King is like talking about his experience of being a father for the first time, probably. He's got a couple of kids, so he's obviously went through this.
And also there's that last distortion effect on him as he picks up the kid, but then it's kind of feel like he's learning to push through it. Because
it's as the kid's crying. And then, and then when he goes to pick him up, it's distorting. And then as it clears up when the baby stops crying.
Yeah. So its idea is, again, the distortion, the dark side is all representing his own self-doubt, fear, and depression. The baby's making him fight through it. It's like a light that helps him live and fight. So, the thematic qualities of the book are bar none. It's funny, actually, when we do our top 10 stories at the end, I feel like if you come back in a couple of years when this is all done... This could very well be something that starts sneaking onto those lists.
Also, do you think King writes in what he's wearing, like the superhero shirt?
I was going to say, do you think Gerard has a challenge to himself? Like how many?
On that subject, I think we have to talk about the Superman shirt at one point, because there's actually a little thing that happens if you didn't notice it. He's wearing an electric blue Superman shirt, and when the video static effect happens, it turns to the red. So that was a neat little touch.
That was a cool one. He's got Wonder Woman at one point. He's got Booster. He's got Aquaman.
Got Nightwing one.
Nightwing. So I want to know who's responsible for that. So it's fun to see his wardrobe.
I assume Gerard just has free reign on that.
Yeah,
but I could be wrong.
I mean,
maybe he requests certain ones for a specific scene, like the Superman thing.
I wonder if it is just free reign and he just thought that up in the art. He said, "Hey Tom, I've got this idea. He's got a Superman shirt on. What if it's the electric blue, but it turns to the red? During the glitch. I could see that.
You look at the coloring on that page, and it's blue and red predominant. Because Funky's in blue, Jack's in red. So it just goes well. And then the scene right after that, where the baby parademon, and just like the horrors of war with Light Ray.
Yeah.
Oof. And how that affects him because he's a dad. But I thought they were cloned. I didn't know they had kids. And he grew up in Apocalypse, so it's so solid every issue.
Yeah, obviously the art's great again. We mentioned obviously the coloring there and the t-shirts, but once again the expressions, the despair in the face, the lovingness as he's finally sitting on the couch with Bard at the end.
It's all in the pacing for me with Gerard's. He nails the pace in a way that few people do.
Yep.
He uses that name panel grid to his.
I'm fully just waiting for the final issue where we break out the 9-panel grid.
We'll get a full page spread at the end, probably.
When
at the end.
When Scott's finally accepted what's going on, when he's in a better headspace, he's not confined to the grid anymore. He's free to think about more.
Yeah, he's not trapped by his own depression. Even that will be represented in the art by breaking away from the panel grid. So no, not surprising anyone. Fantastic.